Part 4. Original poster. My therapist and I had the EMDR discussion last week, and she doesn't do it but agreed it may help. I will see what the sleep specialist says in that regard too. I go on the 30th. Your pattern sounds just like mine. I fall asleep okay, something wakes me up in 4 minutes 5 hours and I'm done. Thanks everyone for the Thanksgiving ideas. I am a master at the turkey and stuffing, those were always my roles. I'm not going to overly sweat the rest, whatever I end up serving doesn't matter, it is all about family being together. Wayward wife always went crazy overdoing every holiday. Everything always turned out nice, but I don't think she ever really enjoyed the moment, being too focused on making sure all the minutiae was perfect. Reader comment. If you think trying to recreate last year's traditions will be a trigger, then this can be the start of a new alternative Thanksgiving. Instead of traditional turkey and all that stuff, then go with some really expensive dry-aged prime ribeye that you slow cook for hours, along with a homemade from scratch bourbon and cream sauce and whatever. Buy wage or Kobe beef, pig out on lobster. Create your own traditions. Rather than have an empty space at the table where everyone glances towards and sighs, then make this your Thanksgiving. Despite all you do have a lot to be thankful for, you are getting out of infidelity. Original poster. Therein lies the quandary. Thanksgiving is one's favorite meal of the year, and he loves to take as many leftovers home as possible. Younger son hates the meal. Not a fan at all. I'm really not triggered, just a bit overwhelmed at the thought of doing it alone. But heck, I'll try to keep it simple, and my mother certainly did it all alone when we were kids. I would miss leftovers too, particularly good old turkey noodle soup. Reader comment. Regarding the mail. I took mail to his attorney's office. He moved several hours away and had to pay his lawyer every time they had to ship him the mail that came to my house. Regarding sleep. When you figure this out, please let me know. Regarding holidays. Do what you want and nothing more. Make new traditions. Nothing says you have to be home on Christmas Day. Take a trip. Original poster. She doesn't have an attorney that I'm aware of. I think I'll stick to my plan of putting it all in an envelope, send it over and put a note in about changing address. When I find the elusive sleep, I'll let you know. Smile. Still no changes. I totally ran out of gas playing golf yesterday with my sons. I was like a zombie last 5 holes. Did some yard work today, so maybe that effort will help tire me out. But I'm usually that way all the time. I have another busy travel week for work, have to fly to Indianapolis tomorrow for 4 days. I was away last week as well for the first time in a few weeks and thought the change of scenery might help. Nope, just tired of being tired. Original poster. I am not necessarily dreading the holidays really. Roll eyes. There's just going to be a lot of memories come up that will be really tough. Example, there are so many Christmas tree ornaments in our collection that have history, stories behind them, or from places we visited etc. Still a way off, but debating how to deal with that. It was such a family event decorating the tree, and all the other things around the house too. I hate the thought of having to potentially sit down and go through all those items and possibly split them up with wayward wife. As far as the sleep, I so appreciate all of the suggestions, and believe me, I've tried many of them. The issue is I fall asleep okay, usually within 10 minutes, but have problems later. As a 57-year-old, nature calls once a night, and when that inevitably happens, I can't get back to sleep. It may be 2 a.m., 3 a.m. etc. I have the clock covered now because I hate knowing what time it is. It's that part of the night when I try to get back that I nod off now and then and get the intrusive dreams and end up wide awake. I'm going to work with my therapist on that this week, and hopefully the sleep specialist can help more on the 30th. Reader comment. I really don't have much to add that hadn't been advised already here, except to say I'm sorry you are here facing this cesspool of her making. To take a 30-year marriage, crumple it up like so much trash is unconscionably egregious, yet here you are. The fact that you were on the verge of some of the greatest times in your life, i.e., kids successfully raised and on their own, possibly looking at their marriages and grandkids down the line, retirement, new adventures, etc., makes her betrayal that much sharper beyond the 30-plus years of relationship history. I am close to your age, and I hope that you'll be able to find some way to tie this off mentally, emotionally, and spiritually so that it doesn't poison you any further. She brought gangrene into your marriage, and it now has to be amputated, with tourniquet applied and wound cauterized. It's an ugly mental image, but it fits what you've described. When I say amputated, I mean divorce with extreme prejudice and no contact. All communication goes through attorneys. No more allowing her poison into your life. None. I have a friend that was recently in your position. Long-term decent marriage. Kids out of the house. Looking at some great years together, and she bails to be with some boss she met through one of her hobbies. Is in shock and grief, as are the kids. She starts blathering about all of her supposed grievances to justify her betrayal. Something happened in my otherwise loyal, wife and family-loving, generally soft-spoken, hard-working friend. He hardened. It's like he took 1000 mgs of Fucatol. I'd never seen him like this before. He cut her off from any direct contact to him. He filed, shipped her stuff to the doorstep of her and her loser, allowed her to take other things from the family home under the supervision of a trusted third party, ended up selling the family home in the divorce and relocating to a very nice condo. I wouldn't call the divorce amicable. He just was not a pushover, and I really believe she thought he would be. It was so weird. The more he cut her off, the more desperate she became to communicate with him, probably to spew her justifications. After the divorce, he stayed NC, spent a lot of time with his kids and their SOs. They wanted nothing to do with their mom. Saw her as a traitor to their family, got therapy, and started dating. Is now in a relationship with a very nice woman who's actually much prettier, 11 years younger than his ex, is very successful, and dotes on him. It's amazing to see. I asked him one time how he found the resolve to behave as he had, and he told me it was pure self-preservation. He said that he may have seemed like he was tough and moving through it with strength, but inside he was drowning, and all she was doing was throwing rocks to a drowning man, and he knew he wouldn't survive it otherwise. The last thing I heard about concerning his ex from a mutual friend is that she is truly shell-shocked. The bloom is off the rose of her relationship with the loser. Her family wants nothing to do with her. Her kids are very low contact with her, and her ex has moved on with an alacrity that no one had ever seen before. Is not recovered, but he has made great strides. Strength, resolve, and clarity to you, sir. Original poster, thanks. Some nice insight there. I think about this part a lot lately. This was supposed to be our time. Kids grown and successfully launched. We would have more time together. We were in the best financial spot in our lives, have a great home and neighborhood, and so many plans about what we were going to do. I was so looking forward to our golden years together. I've worked so hard all my life and have literally spent thousands of nights in hotels over the years in my work travels and driving and flying countless thousands of miles, all trying to do the right thing for my family. The bitter irony is my work travels gave her a huge window to cheat in. I've really thought lately about how selfish it is for someone to go find their new happiness at the expense of another human being. Not just any human being, but the one who should have been the person closest to you in life. That betrayal cuts so deeply. I think I've done fairly well of late detaching from her emotionally, and I don't miss her per se. I am so upset though by the family dynamic she has destroyed. From our children to her parents to her siblings and mine, and the long-term ramifications of all of that. Well, I just got an email from wayward wife. Guess she got served today. Here it is verbatim. Opus, I just got papers from an attorney on your behalf. I am a little confused. Is this the process we discussed? How am I supposed to proceed? The paperwork says I am being sued. Is this all a formality, or do I need to get an attorney? Wayward wife, seriously? Are you an adult? This is a 54-year-old woman we are talking about, who has a professional job. Figure it out, or maybe ask your fellow adulterer. He's divorced. Not my problem. Okay, I decided not to respond. She actually sent me another email over the weekend stating she read the paperwork more thoroughly and understands better now. She is going to contact my attorney. Having a really lousy day, physically and emotionally. I've been sick for 4 days, went to the clinic today, and sure enough I have COVID. I knew my compromised immune system due to my lack of sleep would finally meet its match. Aside from being physically ill and all that entails, my anxiety is through the roof. I had a nightmare involving wayward wife last night, which has me messed up. For whatever reason today I am so hung up on the fact that she has given herself to someone else, and all the physical aspects of it are eating me alive at the moment. I feel like I want to puke, and the visions are killing me. I'm back to just not understanding how things ended up in this place and how she just quit on me, quit on us. I've also been hung on the last couple days and know I shouldn't do that either. I know it was wayward wife who made vows to me, not him. But it takes two to tango. You have to be such a seriously low-life poss to insert yourself into someone else's marriage. My kids are right. He's coveted wayward wife for a long time, and they've seen this relationship border on inappropriate for a while. Thanks for all the good thoughts. It's amazing the kindness of strangers on the internet. You guys are the best. Bad night again last night. 2 very vivid dreams, not nightmares. It was wayward wife and I happy together as if nothing happened. It's really getting to me today again. And of course, the COVID isn't helping. I know in the grand scheme of things, at just over 3 months I'm not that far out, but this roller coaster is doing a number on me. I'm just so tired of being tired, of feeling sick, of taking myriad medications, of anxiety and depression, of all the fallout. How do these people cause so much carnage and care so little? I just can't right now. Thanks everyone. The COVID hasn't been so bad, basically like a bad cold. Feel pretty good today. The last time I had it about a year ago I got super fatigued and was a little sicker. The only reason I even got tested was because I was around Mil and Phil on Saturday. I've surprisingly slept a little better last few nights. Maybe it helps being sick. In other news, my oldest has now spoken to her. She called him, he missed it and called her back. It was not pretty. He was here at my house at the time and took the call in the backyard. I wasn't eavesdropping, but I still heard plenty with the windows open. He went after her hard. Still no empathy for what I have been through. He said to me afterward it went from her crying hysterically to talking almost detached, like she was reading from prepared note, or almost like she had been coached. A lot of buzzwords he said. He said she really sounded like she's losing it, especially with her almost bipolar demeanor changes throughout the call. He's not planning to talk to her again anytime soon. Mil called me last night. Phil is in the hospital with a kidney blockage of some type. She's really worried about how he's handling all of this. She asked if I planned to tell wayward wife about her father being in the hospital, and I said no, we are NC. She assumes it will get to her via her siblings at some point. I've noticed Phil has been pretty quiet of late about the whole saga, and she says he is internalizing a lot of pain. I see it too. To my eye, he looks like he's aged a lot in these last 3 months. I hope he's okay. At this point, I'm just so saddened. I can't even believe the collateral damage at this point. Reader comment, there is one thing you need to do ASAP. If you know where they live, hire a U-Haul and pack everything she owns, including half of the Christmas decorations, ornaments, cutlery, china, cookbooks, alarm clock, gardening tools, and anything else that represents her life in your home, haul it up there and offload it. You don't want or need any reminders. Original poster, I told her last time, anything left at this point is fair game for me to keep, chuck or sell. She doesn't seem to care about the life and home she's left behind. It's insane really. She's off the deep end from the way she dug her heels in with my son on the phone. Of all people, if he can't get through, no one will. She's truly lost. Reader comment, not that it matters, but were there any signs that she was going to do this, and how long has she known this horrible person? Original poster, to have an affair and just walk away. None really, seriously. She was a little more distant, moody about the last 6 months before D-Day. She's a tricky one to read at times, and she can get sulky especially when she has issues with her boss at work or family, who was always there for that. Oh yeah, me. I wouldn't say she shoved me away visibly, and there were no fights. On the surface everything was reasonably normal. We certainly could have communicated better, no doubt. We were planning our 30th anniversary a few weeks before, and even had a nice round of golf just 6 days before D-Day. The only time I noticed issues was when I'd call in the evening while away on business. She got much shorter and less talkative. Now I know why. She was with Clearly, she was a master of compartmentalization. To lie and deceive for that long makes you really good at that. Almost to the level of sociopath. What normal person wouldn't crack eventually after all that? She has known him for over 20 years as they worked together for that long. They haven't worked together for 4 years. My son tells me he always had a bad vibe about the guy coveting wayward wife. Reader comment, let your kids make their own determinations. Don't ever be that guy who steps up for the wayward and patches things up with the kids and the wayward. Original poster, they are. In fact, I try not to say anything nasty. They've certainly come to their own conclusions. What a sad state of things when your children lose respect for you. I couldn't bear it. Okay, this is gonna be long. Never once did wayward wife express her unhappiness. Nothing, zero, zip, nada, never even goaded me into a fight or truly gave the cold shoulder or anything like that. On the surface everything was normal. As we all know, even people in good marriages cheat, usually because of a serious defect on the part of the cheater. Even if she truly was unhappy, I'm not a mind reader. The woman can get moody, but that has been the case for all 30 years. I would get up at the crack of dawn when I went fishing and was usually home before she had really started her day, so I certainly wasn't selfish with my time to her exclusion. I did all that so we could spend time together. That was like pulling teeth really. She has no interests outside of shopping, watching TV and playing golf. My sister raised the interesting point recently about the perfect storm confluence of both sons departing, COVID restrictions, a lot of conflicts with her family and boss, serious uptake in alcohol consumption and menopause. In roughly mid-2020, once my youngest finished college and left, she started spending more time with her former co-workers, which included I thought little of it at the time, but that's when it all started. Everyone knows how slippery the slope is into an E, especially from someone you've known for a while, and who used you as a sounding board for their own divorce. I can almost script exactly how it happened. In terms of specific personality traits, she has several that play a role in her actions, I feel. First, she is never wrong. I think this goes a long way toward her doubling down, not admitting any error of her ways, even to my son, who called out her specific action of adultery being wrong, and she basically said that was his opinion. Frightening. Secondly, she's terribly conflict avoidant, which may be why she never opened her mouth. That is not how mature adults handle relationship issues, sorry. How on earth was our perception of the state of our marriage so different? She took the easy, cowardly route out, which also was the route that resulted in real emotional, physical, and mental damage to me. No remorse, no shame, no regret. She just quit. Here's the kicker though, she told her siblings she was going to leave a year ago. Why not then? I'll tell you why. She didn't fully know she had him locked in yet and didn't have the monkey branch set up. If you really want to leave, then do so. Go live on your own. Fix your issues first, and then maybe start a new relationship. That would have required more effort and honesty than she was willing to undertake. I was obviously the only one there when she broke the news and discarded me out of left field. I have never seen so much venom in my life. She literally turned on a dime after we had a normal lunch together just hours before. I was lying in a heap on the couch in shock, and she basically just stepped over me to go do laundry. That is sociopath level stuff right there. Never once tried to console or tell me she was sorry it came to this. I didn't sleep 5 minutes that night. She slept in my son's old room. At one point I was rooting around and found the Tylenol PM to try to sleep. Apparently, she heard that, because in the morning I was worried when I heard you in there with the pills. So worried that you never bothered to come check if maybe I was trying to odd. So, save me the false concern. This is the person I am dealing with. Now, with regard to her parents and our sons. Be clear, no one on this forum knows the true dynamics of this family, even after all I have shared. I'll tell you her parents' hang-ups. First, Phil is the most upstanding moral person I have ever met. He is hung up on the fact that she not only committed long-term adultery but doubled down on D-Day and moved right in with while we are still married. He's seen that she is a pathological liar and manipulator as well. MIL agrees, but also can't get past wayward wife icy cold discard of me like a used bag of trash. They communicated the day after D-Day, and wayward wife stated, "It didn't go well, I couldn't leave, but I stand by all my actions. MIL was done right there." Quite frankly, MIL likes me better than her own daughter, so she's upset as if it was one of her own children who was betrayed. Bottom line, she hurt someone who they love like a son. You can be really upset with really bad actions. In fact, I admire the fact that they didn't play the blood is thicker than water game and try to rationalize their daughter's actions. They've taken a principled stand. Bottom line, they think their daughter has behaved horribly and have chosen, on their own, to not have anything to do with her. Phil was in the hospital this week, and that would have been the perfect occasion for wayward wife to try to reach out to see how he was doing and try to smooth things over. Nothing. Once someone crosses her, she basically writes them off. The last time she and I spoke about it about 7 weeks ago, she said, "They know my number." In terms of my sons, they both see her as the biggest hypocrite now. This is a woman who preached the importance of morality and virtue, and we spent a small fortune sending them to Catholic school through high school for that very reason. My youngest was super disappointed that she literally just moved in with days after D-Day. No effort to make amends, stop her actions or acknowledge she was wrong. They have lost all respect for her, and she deserves all the consequences of a strained relationship with them as a result. Actions have consequences. Even before my oldest finally spoke to her last week, she made such little effort, merely sending the random text. I would have been crawling through broken glass to fix the relationship with my children. Nope, too busy in fantasy land, and when she has whined to her brother about them, it has always been how it has affected her specifically, not how her children might be feeling about how you willfully hurt their father. On that note, here's another story that shows her utter selfishness. Eldest moved into his new apartment last June. He asked her multiple times to come by and see it, and the two of them could grab dinner or the like, maybe on a night I was away for work. She never went. It all makes sense now, as those nights I was gone she was busy with Again, utter selfishness. It hurt him to think she couldn't care less. Bottom line, she made horrific choices and now has to live with resultant fallout. Achieving your happiness at the expense of another person is really SHTTY, selfish, entitled behavior, and that is what she did. Neither my sons nor her parents are suggesting she stay in the marriage and be unhappy. In fact, I would lose the respect of all of them if I took her back, and that's more important to me than anything. Marriage is a serious commitment. I took my vows very seriously. Everyone will be unhappy at times, and certainly after 30 years you fade from that early infatuation type of love. That mature love, which requires respect and being selfless, certainly didn't resonate with her, and she clearly didn't make the effort required to grow emotionally. She's literally acting like some 16-year-old with their first crush, going out drinking and such, which she never did before. I guess that goes with her asinine statement to me on D-Day that we just aren't compatible. You're figuring that out now. I was certainly compatible for all the years of heavy lifting when it came to raising children, putting a roof over our heads, all that private school tuition, and us wanting for very little. Literally thousands of nights on the road over the years, doing the right thing by my family, and the thanks I get is the cheating, lying, and sneaking around while I'm off doing that. Business travel is rife with opportunities to cheat. It never once crossed my mind. Wayward wife has exposed herself as an immature, entitled, selfish brat. It will take me a long time to forgive, forget, and we will not be friends. I will not have a relationship with someone who did what she did to me. The rest of them can work those dynamics out on their own terms. My son was very clear to her apparently on the phone as to the damage she's done to me and his concern for my well-being. how he checks on me every day and tries to see me once a week. She didn't care. When someone is that heartless and just utterly lacks empathy and you dismiss a son's concern as to how you affected the well-being of his father, then you deserve every bit of scorn they heap on you. Your behavior literally makes you a bad person. I can't reply to all of you individually, but thank you to everyone who responded to my long post. The care and concern of strangers who actually understand these situations is welcome and helpful. It was very cathartic for me to write that last post. My goal this week and going forward in therapy is to focus more on my healing. I feel like I am spinning my wheels and the whole series of events is taking up too much headspace in my world. My son, who was a psychology major for one semester in college, LOL, said something to me yesterday that really resonated. Make your world small. He meant to focus on only one thing at a time, just get through that and then on to my next task in life. To stop trying to unwind this mess in my head. It's unreal how amazing he and his brother are. I am the proudest dad in the world. I am a problem solver. That's what I do, and I think I've been trying to fix something that can't be fixed. I will never get into the head of wayward wife. I firmly believe that no one can act the way she has done without some type of personality disorder. Normal people can't do these things. I need to remind myself that she is no longer my problem. The hard part comes from trying to shut off 30 years of feelings that were there until the moment of D-Day. I loved her until that moment more than she will ever know and would have died for her. To see the woman you love, the one who is such a great mother, turn into an unrecognizable person like this is the hardest thing to get past. I need to keep repeating a line I saw somewhere: I am a good person. I deserve better. Reader comment: hope you're doing okay. Original poster hanging in there. Currently just feeling very lonely. I miss companionship, having someone to share my day with, talk about our kids' accomplishments, enjoy meals and activities together. Not necessarily missing her specifically at this point though, if that makes sense. It's tough after having someone in your life that you shared everything with for so very long. I picked up a copy of The Journey from Abandonment to Healing by Susan Anderson. Seems like a good resource for those of us whose spouses not only betrayed, but just up and left with no real warning. Severing the long-term pair bond involuntarily is very difficult. Just started the book. Reader comment: I see so much of myself in you. I tried to understand and make sense of the affair, his sudden demand, why he cheated again, etc. I think often the cheating spouse is not unhappy until they meet the AP. And then the BS is just an annoyance. I finally stopped torturing myself after about 2 years because I stopped asking questions and getting answers I just could not wrap my head around. But I did figure things out in my own, and I believe in myself, and I know I'm not wrong. I'm not saying my H is lying. I'm saying I had deeper insight into who he is or was, and I see things a bit differently than he does. My advice is to stop trying to analyze where it went south. Sometimes the cheater doesn't even know. They just know they made a decision to lie and cheat. And sometimes we, as the betrayed, just have to accept it. I hope this helps you. Original poster, thanks, it is helpful. I had a nice chat with Phil the other day, since I had called to see how he was doing post-surgery. He brought the subject of his daughter up, not me. He's been pretty reserved about the whole thing, but we talked for a while, and he said the same thing about over-analyzing. He and I are both logical, rational people, and these things can easily tie you in knots. He also reiterated a very important point as to her behavior with everyone throughout this. She is never wrong and will never admit to being wrong. It explains a lot but does not excuse her behavior. Did have my app this week with sleep specialist. Didn't get too far since it's not physical. He did prescribe lustiness, which after a few nights here hasn't done much. Hopefully it starts to improve soon. I have found a little more motivation to get out with hobbies in the last week, so hopefully I can build on that. My therapist and sisters both say I am making good progress, I just don't always feel like I am. I guess things are still really raw here at just under 4 months. As my sister likes to say, grant yourself some grace. I appreciate all the support, everyone, thank you. I did see the sleep specialist last week. Unfortunately, not being a physical issue, it's going to be tough. He put me on Lunesta, which hasn't really helped that much, and I feel jittery during the day. Still fall asleep okay, it's just waking up in middle of night and not getting back. I've tried every combination of medication, natural remedies, getting up to read after not falling back to sleep in short order. I've changed bedrooms. Everything. It's really doing a number on me, and I feel like my brain is in a fog. Can't concentrate. Sitting here at my desk trying to work is tough, and I had some bad anxiety issues this morning, with no real trigger. Not really sure where to go from here, but I can't continue like this. I may need some other type of therapy that can focus on the sleep somehow. I'm so frustrated. Reader comment, have you tried Emder? It's thought that Emder mimics the processing we do in our sleep and helps shift traumatic data into more proper storage. I know a lot of people report nightmares after the trauma of infidelity, but what I found was that my brain was protecting me in my sleep by not letting me anywhere near that injury. If I drifted too close to the subject matter, I popped up awake and couldn't get back to sleep for hours. I was so exhausted, and this went on for a long time. It did get better though, and I do wonder if I'd had Emder earlier if I might have avoided some of that sleeplessness. Original poster, yes. I literally just sent inquiry this morning to a new psychotherapy center about Emder. My current therapist thinks it is a good idea, but she doesn't do it. Thanks for the ideas, they all help. Sleep may have been just a tick better over the past week. I'll take it. Bittersweet day today. My oldest got a new job about a month ago, a great new opportunity with a nice pay increase, and today he moved as he starts next Monday. In that short time, he did an amazing job of taking care of business, getting out of his old lease, finding a new place, packing up, etc. His new job is in the Boston area, about 6 hours away. He was about 45 minutes away here. We had a nice dinner last night together. I am so appreciative of he and his brother throughout all of this. We don't really talk about what happened too much at all, as it isn't their burden. They are just there for me. My oldest literally calls every day to see how I'm feeling, and mostly how my sleep is going. Just gives me little tidbits now and then to keep my chin up. They have no idea what it has meant to me. I had to drop something off at M and Phil house the other day, unsolicited. MIL told me how both my boys have told her numerous times over the years what a good dad I've been. Maybe she's being bitter about wayward wife, but she said they never said the same about her. Nothing else new on divorce front. Just waiting game now. I am in C and should be able to maintain that, as I have no reason to break it at this point. Baby steps day by day in my healing. People around me say they notice me getting a bit better, and even though I don't feel like I've turned much of a corner, maybe they're right. WW still subconsciously occupies too much headspace, and I do my best to kick it out. A little less every day though, I guess, is some progress. I fully realize how raw things still are. Thanks everyone. I appreciate the words of encouragement. Reader comment, congratulations to your son. Someday I want to visit Boston. Maybe you two can meet in the middle, 3 hours away. 3 hours is not too far. There's a restaurant about hours from me by a friend's house. It's Chinese and all the cooks, the waiters, everybody but the lady who collects the dishes is Chinese. We're the only ones who aren't when we go. Out on the back patio are all men speaking together and smoking. Lots of people getting noodles and soup. We go between lunch and dinner when the staff eats and it's not so busy. They have a special soup with pork broth and vegetables and herbs and noodles. Everybody eats fast, then back to work. Always laughing and watching sports on TV. They have the side door turned into a to-go window. So much food going out during the day. Everything very fresh and tasty, and it comes to the table fast. I like the energy of it all. New Year's Eve we went there, and it was packed with people around the big circular tables. You never saw so much food. It's fun to find places like that that have a good feeling. Now they know us better, they come over to talk. I see them laughing with the guys on the back patio. Life is good with company. Hope you can find some places to share with your son in the new area. Lift your spirits and try something new. Good people are all around when you go looking. May you find true happiness throughout after all this sadness passes away. I can't imagine you won't draw goodness to you if you let your spirit shine. Maybe you try living in Boston too, who knows. Original poster, thank you, that's very kind. I do actually. More on the south side of the city, and he's north but close enough to make it work when I get up there. My sister came up with a nice idea the other night. She will be here for Thanksgiving and she suggested we decorate the Christmas tree together the next day, so I have everyone around to do that with. I have now also found out my oldest will also make it to Christmas, so they will both be here with me on Christmas Eve and then the three of us on Christmas. Wayward wife won't see them for either holiday. My therapist suggested GABA for sleep to me today. Ordered it right up on Amazon. We shall see. Just checking back and see after a few weeks. Today is a really tough day for me. It is our 30th wedding anniversary. I've been thinking about it a lot and it just gets me really down. I meant every word I said in those vows I professed that day. Clearly, she didn't. Sleep has unfortunately gotten a little worse after improving a bit with all this on my mind. My youngest is going to have dinner with me tonight to take my mind off of things. I hope it helps. I'm just struggling to find joy in things right now. I'm doing activities and such, but I just feel empty all the time. In other news, my second sister is now also coming for Thanksgiving, which was a very nice surprise. I'll have all my important people around me. Wayward wife, not being familiar with my eldest's new job, texted him that she'd come up to Massachusetts to make him Thanksgiving dinner. He told her he would be here with us. That got to her. It's only going to get worse at Christmas, as she won't see either of them then as well. The consequences are rapidly piling up. She ripped apart so much in the whole family that can just never really be fixed. Once that genie is out of the bottle, you can't put it back. I know selfishness is the hallmark of cheaters, but the fact that they can't see the fallout when they engage in this behavior is mind-boggling. Maybe they really just don't care. On another note, I start Emder therapy this week to help address the trauma. I hope it helps. Reader comment: I know selfishness is the hallmark of cheaters, but the fact that they can't see the fallout when they engage in this behavior is mind-boggling. She'll blame it on you. It's what they do. Have you thought about having a funeral for the woman you thought your STBX was? Not the ceremony as much as boxing everything of hers and putting it away, and as a start of moving forward. Some of that will happen as the divorce closes off the story of your marriage. But that doesn't mean you can get a head start. The reason I ask is you seem a bit stuck in grief over what you lost. The sooner you mentally shift to looking forward to the future than wistfully looking behind, the better. Original poster: I like that idea. I'll admit I'm a bit stuck. I think there's just a lot of things right now that bring back so many memories. This long-term anniversary, Thanksgiving, her birthday, Christmas. Having family who care around me through all of this will help. I think I just need time. I know full well who she is, what she became, how she has acted. I just need to uncouple that from the good memories and all the history. I'll get there. Thank you everyone. I really do appreciate all the positive thoughts. Amazing how kind people you don't even know can be. Reader comment: Hi Opus, just checking in. Hope your Thanksgiving plans are working out well and you enjoy time with your family. Even though I'm still with my that first year of holidays were pure torture. The only thing that kept me going was trying to keep things normal for our 3 sons. One was in college at the time, one in high school, and one in middle school. Every Christmas I baked and baked cookies for family and friends. Couldn't do it that year. My children did have a tree and their stockings hung and lots of presents under the tree. Didn't decorate inside much. I don't think they even noticed. You will get through the holidays, maybe a bit bruised, but intact just like the rest of us did. Original poster: Thanks. Plans are proceeding for Thanksgiving nicely. Really looking forward to it. I started Emder therapy on Friday. The therapist took my trauma history, and there are really only 2 major ones that stand out: my mother dying of cancer at age 48 when I was 16, and of course this. We worked on my mom's death and illness this week, pulling out the emotions and memories of that. I did feel better afterwards. She wants to continue with that aspect next week before moving on to the affair. I'm encouraged. Thanks for the Thanksgiving thoughts. So, both of my sons, both of my sisters, and my one nephew were here. The food came off perfectly, and I even impressed myself with my ability to organize it all for the first time alone. It was the best turkey I ever made. It was really nice to have them all around me. I did have a real bad moment that afternoon but got through it. As planned, we put up the Christmas tree a bit early last evening before everyone departed today, which was nice. Some new traditions. Still gonna be a long slog through the holidays, but I am cheered by the fact that I will again have my sons for Christmas, and they will not see their mother at all. One day at a time. Reader comment: The best for your Christmas celebrations, Opus. Smiling face. Original poster: Belated thanks. I haven't been on here in a while and I guess an update is due. I am about 2 weeks away from finality on the divorce. I have now been through 4 sessions of Emder. We started with the trauma of the loss of my mother when I was a teen and moved on from there. I don't know how it works, but I am doing amazing. I have gone from thinking about wayward wife 90% of the day a few months ago to her crossing my mind about 10% of the time. My demeanor is really good, and everyone notices it. I was sleeping better overall, backslid a little with Christmas this week, but I think I'll snap right back. I also made a friend on Reddit a few months ago who is also in the middle of betrayal trauma, and we've talked a lot on FaceTime and the phone. I think it has done us both a world of good, and we actually mostly don't talk about our betrayal experiences anymore, but just general life. It's quite a fascinating difference talking to someone so openly, further exposing the emotional walls wayward wife had thrown up in our marriage. We are just enjoying each other's company and live thousands of miles apart, so this is all it will come to. It feels good to talk to a woman who gets it. I've made a friend. Both of my boys spent Christmas with me, and we had a great time. We had a nice dinner Christmas Eve with their grandparents, and we did Chinese on Christmas. New traditions. Wayward wife texted the younger asking to see him while he was in town. He declined, citing no time, even though he was here for 4 days, so things are still not very good with them. He told me she plans to head up to Boston to see him later this week. He's not looking forward to it at all, and it is going to be incredibly awkward as she hasn't seen him at all since June, and they had the one ugly phone call in September. He said he's not backing off his stance at all. The damage between my sons and her is likely never truly going to be fixed. It's very sad, and she did that all herself. Funny note in terms of wayward wife. Her brother told my son that she said, AP's children hate my guts and won't be in the same room with me. Sounds like that stems from her being with his family at Thanksgiving. It looks like things aren't all sunshine and rainbows after all. You know, I don't really even care either way really, so that's good. I likely won't visit here a whole lot going forward, because I'm trying to not make the infidelity the center of my life anymore. I'll pop in though with updates now and then. I can't thank everyone on this forum enough for their amazing advice and kind words of support. It's been unreal what strangers on the internet can do, and it restores faith in humanity. Thank you all. You all said I would get through this, and in my darkest hours I never thought that was possible, but here I am. I'm not out of the tunnel, and I'll carry these scars forever, but I'm not going to let it or her define me. I have a lot of life to live, and whether that is contentedly on my own or someday with another person, I'll be okay. I repeated a lot to myself, I deserve better. I do, and I'm going to find it. Thank you everyone for the replies and the positive thoughts about my progress. I have to say, I never thought I'd be in this position by this point. I can attribute it to a good support system of friends and family, solid therapy including Emder, my faith, moving fairly quickly to divorce, and I think most importantly to my ability to emotionally detach, no contact. I will heed the thoughts of hanging around to offer advice. I agree that I can offer some good insight at this point. I appreciate you all.